Good evening and welcome back to our fireside, your fireside, wisdom by the fireside. Tonight's story is about a truth buried deep in wood and silence, a mystery that nearly died with its keeper, until a stranger listened to a whisper that wasn't meant for her, and it changed everything. What if you found a letter in your floorboards that didn't belong to you, but accused someone you know of murder? Let me take you back to a quiet street in Baton Rouge, the kind with creaky porches, sagging swings, and the hum of cicadas on humid nights, where one woman's search for home led her into the echoes of a crime hidden for over a decade. In the summer of 2023, Erica Monroe, 28, moved into a weathered craftsman house on Julia Street, a quiet neighborhood close to the downtown riverfront. She was a social worker, used to hearing things that didn't make sense, and loving people who didn't know how to love themselves back. The house had belonged to an elderly woman named Miss Reaney, who had died the year before with no family. It sat abandoned for months, until the city sold it for almost nothing in an auction aimed at community workers. Erica was thrilled. The place needed work, but the bones were strong. It felt safe. At least, that's what she thought. Erica spent her weekends sanding the hardwood floors. One afternoon in the back bedroom, her hand sander jolted over a warped board near the closet. Something was underneath. Curious, she pried up the board and found a small tin recipe box wrapped in flannel. Inside were 4 Polaroid photos, brittle and sun-faded. A young black man in a varsity jacket grinning, a bloody shirt, a close-up of a hand with a bracelet that read Keisha, and a typed letter dated May 12th, 2011. Erica read it once, then twice. Her skin went cold. It was a confession. It was signed only with a typewritten initial, D. The letter claimed the author had witnessed the murder of a girl named Keisha and helped cover it up. It said her body was hidden in a drainage tunnel near the Bluebonnet swamp and that the police had gotten the wrong boy. It ended with, "If anyone ever finds this, forgive me. I was scared. I was a coward. But Keisha deserves the truth. She was only 17. Erica's breath caught in her throat. She worked in child services. She'd heard of the Bluebonnet case. A 17-year-old named Keisha Lane disappeared in 2011. Her boyfriend, Terrence Jacobs, was convicted of second-degree murder without a body ever being found. He had claimed innocence the whole time, but the city moved on. Erica sat on the floor, letter in her lap, heart thudding. What was she supposed to do? If the letter was fake, it was cruel. If it was real, an innocent man might have been sitting in Angola for 12 years. She called her friend Janelle, a public defender. "Do not throw that away," Janelle said, "and don't call the police just yet. If this is real, they're not going to want it to be real." Why? Because it would mean they buried the wrong person and let the right one walk free for over a decade. Erica couldn't sleep that night. The letter, the Polaroids, the name Keisha, they haunted her. She looked up everything she could, about the 2011 case. Keisha Lane had been an honors student at McKinley High, vanished on her way home from a Friday night choir practice. No body ever found. Terrence Jacobs, her boyfriend at the time, was arrested 2 weeks later. Police said a neighbor saw him and Keisha arguing the night she disappeared. He had a prior juvenile record. That was enough. No confession. No murder weapon. Just suspicion. Terrence was sentenced to life without parole at 18. The more Erica read, the more nauseated she became. She found the lead detective's name, Sergeant Richard Harlan, retired, widely respected. He'd given several talks at police banquets about the Keisha Lane case. He'd said, "Sometimes you don't need a body to know guilt. Sometimes you just need guts." But Erica was starting to wonder if it was guts or something else. And then, the biggest twist of all. She checked old property records. Miss Reaney, the woman who owned Erica's house, her full name was Irene Harlan, Sergeant Harlan's mother. Erica felt the floor tilt beneath her. The house she'd just bought, the one where she found the confession, belonged to the mother of the lead detective in Keisha's case. And the letter was signed D, not R, not for Richard. Who the hell was D? Erica didn't tell the police. Instead, she called Janelle again. "We need to visit Terrence," she said, "at Angola." Janelle sighed. "Do you know how many cases like this come in every year? Jailhouse confessions, cold leads, false hope. The system's a brick wall." "I don't want to break the wall," Erica said. "I want to find the crack." A week later, Erica and Janelle drove 2 hours north to Louisiana State Penitentiary, Angola. Nicknamed the Farm, it was one of the oldest and most feared prisons in America. They sat in the visitation booth for 40 minutes before Terrence was brought in. Now 30, with deep-set eyes and a faded scar on his chin, he looked more like a ghost than a man. He looked at Erica, confused. "You ain't my lawyer." "No," she said. "But I think I live in your old life's shadow." She slid the Polaroids and letter across the table. Terrence stared at them. He didn't blink. He didn't breathe. Then, tears filled his eyes. "I used to walk Keisha home past Bluebonnet," he whispered. "But I didn't kill her. I never laid a hand on her." "Who's Dee?" Erica asked. Terrence hesitated. "You found this in Harlan's mum's house?" Erica nodded. Terrence's jaw clenched. "Then Dee is either his son or his nephew. Both of them ran with some heavy kids back then. One of them was obsessed with Keisha. I told the cops that. They said I was just trying to pin it on someone else." Janelle leaned forward. "You said it during your trial?" "They lost the recording," he said bitterly, "just like they lost the truth." Back in Baton Rouge, Erica couldn't stop thinking about what Terrence had said. 2 young men, both related to Detective Harlan, both possible suspects, and one of them possibly Dee. She dug into city archives, found old yearbooks, cross-referenced addresses. That's when she found him. Darius Harlan, Richard Harlan's nephew, arrested twice in 2010 for breaking and entering. One sealed record, expunged by 2013. He had lived with Miss Reaney for 2 years, in the very room where Erica found the letter, and just 2 months after Keisha Lane vanished, Darius moved to Texas. Erica paced her kitchen for hours. Was Darius the one who saw something or did something? She reached out to a local journalist she trusted, Sam Delgado, an independent reporter known for exposing corruption and misconduct. Sam had covered the Terrence Jacobs trial when he was fresh out of college. She showed him everything: the photos, the letter, the house records, her visit to Angola. Sam was stunned. This could blow the whole case wide open. "I don't want to blow it open," Erica said. "I want to bring Keisha home." Sam nodded. "Let me see what I can find out about Darius." Meanwhile, Janelle filed an official motion to reopen the case based on new evidence found by a homeowner. The state pushed back immediately. They said the letter couldn't be verified. The confession was anonymous. There was no hard proof. It could be a hoax, they claimed. But Janelle persisted. She requested a ground search of the drainage tunnels near Bluebonnet Swamp, where the letter said Keisha's body might be. The police refused, so Erica and Sam went themselves. The swamp smelled like rot and summer rain. They walked for hours in knee-high boots, cutting through brush and mosquitoes. Finally, in the third tunnel they checked, Sam spotted something half buried under vines and trash. A gold bracelet, faded, cracked, etched with the word Keisha. Sam took photos, sealed it in a clean evidence bag, and rushed it to a private forensics lab out of state. 2 weeks later, the results came back. Human hair, a match to Keisha Lane's mother. Sam published the story the next day. Bracelet found in Baton Rouge. Swamp matches missing teen. Whistleblower claims police ignored evidence. It went viral in 24 hours. The city panicked. The police department issued a statement saying they would reassess the case. Sergeant Richard Harlan declined to comment. But Erica knew that silence often spoke the loudest, especially when guilt had nowhere left to hide. After the article exploded online, new voices began to speak. A former patrol officer anonymously contacted Sam. He said he remembered seeing Darius Harlan at the station the night Terrence was arrested, shaking, asking to speak to someone. "I thought he was turning himself in," the officer said. "But the next morning, he was gone, and the chief told us to forget he'd even come in." Sam asked for proof. The officer said, "I was told if I opened my mouth again, I'd be riding a desk till retirement." It was a dirty puzzle, and all the corner pieces pointed to the same man, Detective Richard Harlan. Meanwhile, the state reopened the Keisha Lane file, but still refused to release Terrence Jacobs. The evidence, they said, while compelling, remains inconclusive. No body, no confession from the supposed D, no admissible link to an alternate suspect. That's when Erica made a choice. She would confront Darius herself. Sam helped her track him down in a small town just outside Waco, Texas. He worked at an auto parts warehouse, lived in a trailer with blackout curtains. Erica knocked on the door just after sundown. "Who are you?" he asked cautiously. "My name's Erica. I live in your aunt's old house." His face went pale. "I found something you left there," she said. She pulled out the tin box. He didn't run. He didn't speak. He just sank to the floor and wept. "I never meant for him to take the fall," Darius whispered through tears. "I begged Uncle Rick to come clean. He said Keisha was already gone, and nothing would bring her back. He said I'd ruin the family name." "Did you do it?" Erica asked. Darius shook his head violently. "No, I was there. I saw her fall. She hit her head. It wasn't supposed to happen. But Rick told me to say nothing. He took the shirt, the bracelet, everything. He made it go away." "Why the letter?" "I wanted to tell someone. I couldn't live with it. But I was scared." Sam recorded everything, audio and video. Darius signed a written statement, then turned himself in 2 days later. His lawyer negotiated a deal: full immunity in exchange for truthful testimony against Sergeant Richard Harlan. The dominoes fell fast after that. The city launched an internal investigation. Detective Harlan was arrested on charges of obstruction of justice, perjury, and tampering with evidence. He maintained his innocence. But the damage was done. Terrence Jacobs was finally released in February 2024. He walked out of Angola into the arms of his mother, now graying and trembling with joy. He had missed over a decade of life, and still he smiled. The day Terrence Jacobs walked free, the sky in Baton Rouge opened up with soft rain. Reporters surrounded the courthouse. Some people cheered, others wept. A few just stood in stunned silence. Terrence's first words were not of anger. He simply said, "Thank you," to the ones who listened. Erica stood quietly on the sidelines. She didn't want credit. She didn't need it. Terrence saw her anyway. He walked over, took her hand, and whispered, "You gave me back time when no one else would even give me 5 minutes." The following week, Erica returned to the swamp one last time. They found skeletal remains in the 5th tunnel, clothing scraps, dental fragments. DNA confirmed it was Keisha Lane. After 13 years, she came home. Her mother, now in a nursing home, held a memorial service. Erica sat in the back row. A small choir sang the same hymn Keisha had sung on the night she disappeared. There were no cameras, no press, just silence, grace, and justice. Sergeant Richard Harlan took a plea deal in late 2024, 10 years in federal prison. Darius entered witness protection. He left town quietly, a broken man who had finally done the right thing. Janelle founded a legal non-profit for wrongfully convicted youth. And Sam published a full-length investigative book titled What the Floorboards Knew. It made bestseller lists within a month. But Erica, she stayed in that old house on Julia Street. She sanded the floor smooth, planted sunflowers out back, hung a photo of Keisha and Terrence side by side above the mantel, and in the center of her kitchen wall, she framed the bracelet, the one that started it all. By the spring of 2025, Erica Monroe's life had changed in ways she never imagined. She had not set out to become a hero. She wasn't chasing headlines or justice crusades. She just wanted to restore a home. And in doing so, restored lives. Terrence Jacobs enrolled in a community college program studying criminal justice. He said he wanted to help kids like him, ones judged too quickly, too harshly. He now volunteers with Erica twice a month at a youth advocacy center. Every time he speaks to a young man on the brink, he says the same thing. Tell the truth, even if your voice shakes. Sometimes the most powerful stories don't start with a scream. They start with a whisper, a letter, a floorboard. This one started with a girl named Keisha, a voice that was almost silenced forever, and ended with a woman who refused to ignore what the world told her to forget. And as for you, dear listener, let tonight's story remind you that justice delayed can still be justice delivered, that no system, however strong, can stand against the quiet courage of the right heart, and that sometimes God hides the truth in strange places, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it. Thank you for sitting with us by the fire, for hearing Keisha's story, Terrence's truth, and Erica's courage. You're part of our little circle now. If the story touched your heart and would like to listen to more like it, you know where to find us.